Hello everybody, Assalamu alaikum. So hope you're doing well. Okay, let's continue with our study. Okay, so we in the last class we discussed about this chapter 14. We discussed about the World Trade Organization and the World Trade Pattern. Okay, but the last part of it was unfinished. Okay, so let's talk about the World Trade Pattern. Okay. Um, okay. So this was the part that was left from the last class. Okay, so see that now we'll talk about why about the reasons of increasing world trade or export. Okay, so what's happening over here is that the if you look all around you, the world trade is increasing, and one of the main reason is that the export and import and everything is also increasing. Okay, so but in the recent pandemic situation, we have seen that it decreased a lot. But now the pandemic situation, when the situation is getting normal, okay, so it's improving again. Okay, so now we'll discuss the reason behind it, behind the increase in the world trade. Okay, so see that better transport and communications. So the transportation has become more faster, more cheaper. Okay, so anything from anything in the world can be transferred to any country within a very short period of time, and with very low cost compared to the cost that used to take incur a few, I suppose, 10 or 20 years ago. It was quite expensive and quite slow, but now it has become faster and cheaper. Okay, now this reduces the cost of selling goods abroad. Okay, so if the cost is falling, if the time is falling, then one good thing is that the selling price will also fall, and therefore makes them more attractive to buy. So definitely there will be more sales. Okay, so due to development in ICT and internet, buyers and sellers can communicate easily. Okay, so very easily you can do this. Okay? Suppose, for example, AliExpress. Okay, if you use AliExpress, you can easily communicate. Then let's talk about like with the help of the AliExpress, you can bring goods from around the world. Okay. And if you think about like maybe Daras.com. Okay, so even with the help of Daras.com, which is also a part of AliExpress, with the help of this, you can just within 5 minutes you can click an order for any kind of foreign goods, and within 1 week to 1 month, it will reach you. So so the transportation and communication both has increased a lot. Next, we have a relaxing of trade barriers. So see that after 1930s, world leaders realized that protectionism does not help economic growth. As a result, nations have discussed ways of increasing trade. There have been different rounds of negotiations. At these rounds, national leaders discuss trade matters and sign agreements to reduce tariff and quotas. Okay, so see what's happening. That it's around the World War periods. After all those war and everything, people decided that okay, the war leaders basically them or the winners of the wars, they thought found that okay, so if we want to increase the trade and develop the economy, one of the way is to stop fighting and eliminate any kind of actions which may lead to any war or trade war or retaliation between countries. Okay, and so some of the important rounds or the gathering of the national leaders are like in Tokyo in 1979, Uruguay 1986 to 1994, Doha 1999. So these were some of the notable gatherings of or rounds of yeah, world leaders. got together and agreed to reduce or eliminate the tariff and quota or any kind of barriers. Next, we have development of multinationals. A lot of world leader has been driven by large multinationals. So multinational company we already discussed. So they have developed a lot. So what's happening that their aim is to increase sales around the world and promote goods in locations where cost is minimized. As a result, they have been sold an increasing range of goods and services to increasing number of countries. So this development of multinational has contributed a lot as well. Okay. Next, we have that travel and consumer awareness. So nowadays, what's happening that traveling has improved a lot. So as a result, what's happening that due to an increasing air travel and any kind of travel, and consumers are more prepared to buy goods from other countries. Okay, so consumers are now aware of goods and services from around the world. They were exposed to many kind of goods and services. So when they return home, they also demand this kind of goods and services. Okay, so and people are continuously traveling, so many people are moving to other countries as well. So this is all these are leading to a rise in this consumer awareness and everything. Okay, so they welcome greater choice and recognize that imports can satisfy a growing number of needs and wants. Okay, next we have trade agreements. So most countries in the world have trade agreements with their neighbors, which are designed to encourage free trade. More specifically, neighbor countries formed trading blocs to facilitate the trade among them. Okay, so see that what's happening that these kind of trade agreements are very important, and this is encouraging free trade. Mm, okay, so see, this kind of trade agreement will definitely benefit the all kind of activities from around the world. Okay. So see, next we have in the next chapter. This is a very important chapter. Okay, exchange rate. Okay. So we'll start this chapter today, but we may not be able to finish it today. We may even spend a few days to finish this chapter, but let's start it. Okay, this is a very important chapter. Please let me know if you're facing any problem. You can knock me in the student question section, and also you can knock me in the offline classes as well. Okay, so this is a very important chapter, and you need to clarify all your problems related to this chapter. Okay, so see what's happening over here, that exchange rate and their determination. Okay, so exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another. Okay, so see what's happening that suppose let's talk about $1. Okay, so how much is $1 in terms of taka? Okay, so maybe it's around. It's continuously changing. So suppose this is currently sorry, not 95, around 90. Okay, let's redo this. Maybe around 85 taka, right? So what is this? This is the topic we are talking about today. It's we are talking about the exchange rate. So see the price of one currency in terms of another. Okay, so see that exchange rates are needed because different countries use different currencies. When trading with other countries, payments usually have to be made in another currency. Okay, so suppose think about a situation like you are moving to USA, and over there if you spend in terms of taka, it's not possible, right? If you go to the shops and everything, you must pay in terms of dollar, because when you're purchasing in those country, you have to do it in terms of their currency. And if someone from USA comes to your country and they try to spend in terms of taka, and then it's okay, but they cannot use dollar. Okay, because the dollar needs to be transferred, sorry, uh, converted to taka, if they want to continue their purchase. Okay, so how this is determined? Okay. So see that determination of exchange rates. Like all price, the price of a currency is determined by market forces, which is demand and supply. And if those forces changes, the price is also likely to change. Currencies are bought and sold like commodities on foreign exchange market. If you ever visited a foreign exchange market, I think you have noticed that it's just like a shop with so much more security maybe. Over there, what's happening that we can purchase foreign currency from there. We can exchange any kind of currency over there, right? So that's a foreign exchange market. So, but how there this amount or the value of the conversion rate is determined? This is determined by basically the demand and supply, just like any other goods in the market. Okay, I think about a soft drinks or chips or biscuit or any kind of food you're buying from the a restaurant or a shop. How the price is determined? Definitely with the help of demand and supply. So that's what's happening over here as well. It is when the demand rises, price rises, right? So the value will rise. When the supply rises, the value falls, right? It's this simple, just like any other product. Okay, so see that over here it's written that if the price or value of a currency rises, exchange rate also rises for the currency. And if the price or value of a currency falls, exchange rate falls as well. Okay, and the foreign exchange market is a market where foreign exchange can be bought and sold. Banks and other financial institutions trade in these markets to obtain foreign currencies for their customers. Okay, so see that what's happening that there are many kind of financial institute as well as banks where you can come up with this kind of situation where the exchange rate is being used or converted. Now, this is again a very important topic. See the determination of the price currency. Okay, so who determines the price? If it can be determined, like we already discussed, with the help of demand and supply, and also it can be done with the help of the government. Okay, so if we talk about the government, then we are talking about fixed exchange rate. So under fixed exchange rate, what's happening? The central bank intervenes the foreign exchange market to maintain the prescribed exchange rate. Okay, so the government will decide and the central bank will implement. The central rate is called par value or peg. Under this system, central bank fill any gap between the supply and demand for foreign exchange at the fixed rate. To achieve this goal, central banks holds a lot of international reserve. Okay, and so with the help of that reserve, central bank can change this. Okay. Okay, suppose think about government wants to reduce the exchange rate. Okay, so what they can do, they can release the reserve. Okay, then the supply will rise. As a result, value will fall. And again, if the government wants to increase the exchange rate, then what may happen that they may reduce the reduce the supply, the market, then it will increase the value. It's something like this. Okay, next we have flexible exchange rate system. So flexible exchange rate system is basically done with the help of the forces of demand and supply, like we discussed before. That under the flexible exchange rate system, the exchange rate is determined daily in the foreign exchange market by the force of supply and demand. The exchange rate moves freely in response to market force, and there is no government or central bank intervention. This system is also known as freely flexible or cleaning a floating exchange rate system. Okay, because it's freely floating by the mercy of demand and supply. Okay, next we have that under flexible exchange rate system, if the price of currency increases, the currency is said to be appreciated, and if the price of the currency decreases, the currency is said to be having a depreciation. Okay, so see that when it's rising, it's appreciation, and when it's falling, it's depreciation. Okay, see we have a situation of appreciation over here. See that if the currency if the price of currency increases in terms of another, it is called appreciation of the currency. Okay, so see over here, 1 pound is equals to $1.5. So if the conversion rate becomes like this, that 1 pound equals to $2, then we can say there will be an appreciation of pound. Okay, because with the same pound, you can buy more dollar. So that means the pound is getting stronger. And if 1 pound becomes $1.10, then we can say that there is an appreciation of the dollar. Because see that previously with $1.5 they could have bought 1 pound worth of goods. Now they need to spend only $1.1 to get a 1 pound worth of goods. But at the same time, there will be a depreciation for the dollar. And in this case, what's happening? We discussed that it's an appreciation for the dollar, but at the same time, it's a depreciation for the pound. Okay. So if appreciation of a currency occurs, it means that currency becomes stronger. And if depreciation of a currency occur, it means the currencies become weaker. Okay, so appreciation means stronger and depreciation means weaker. So let's go through some more example. Okay, so you can get questions like this in your exam as well. A small simple mathematics. Okay, so you see that how much will cost a French firm to buy goods from a British firm with 440 euro. Okay, so that's the conversion. So let's have a different example. How many US dollars will be needed by a British firm buying $55,000 of goods from an American firm if 1 pound is equals to $1.50. Okay, so it's basically the very similar math to the last one. We just need to multiply 50,000 55,000 pound with this conversion rate of 1.5. Then we'll get this increase the demand for